Hi.
Right. Hey, hello, everybody. Happy Monday, the greatest day of the week.
So they say.
It's pre-Outturn day. I mean, I think that's fair. But how's everyone doing? Jenna, how are you? First of all,
I'm well. It's been a busy day today.
Yeah,
it's been a very busy Monday, which is good. You know, get to end it with some great whiskeys and some awesome people. So I'm happy.
Yeah. It's I mean, I'm back in the office now, as you guys can see. I've left the living room. You know, the kitchen table has been the Society broadcast studio in Chicago for a few months now, and it's good to have some sun shining, a different setup. I got a whole little desk with all the whiskeys for a taste. Life is good, So first of all, I'd like to say hello to Pickly Dew from DC. Pickly Dew, congratulations! That is one of the best YouTube usernames I've seen in a long time. And Jenna, any whiskey over the weekend? Talk to us about your recent whiskey interests and what's been going on.
I have been really getting into, I kind of go through these phases, and I'm like that in so many things. I'm like that. Like, I'll find something I'd love to eat. Like, I've been making this homemade chocolate, like Nutella hazelnut mousse.
Ooh.
I've been making jars of it, and I've just been putting it in my coffee and eating little spoonfuls of it, and I'll probably do that for the next 3 weeks because I'll be obsessed with it, and then I'll move on to some other dessert. I'm kind of like that with whiskey. So I go through these phases where it's I just want stuff that's peated, or I want something that's finished, whether that's sherry or some kind of wine cask. But I've really been getting into these younger ex-bourbon whiskeys, and I've had a lot of fun just kind of exploring that over the past few weeks. So that's kind of been my little thing over the past few weeks. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a phase guy myself. I mean, I like sort of switching it up, and then sort of for maybe 1 year. I mean, I like changing things seasonally here in Chicago. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, the motions of season changing, but not here in Chicago. We get 4 seasons, and so I tend to sort of rotate different styles, and then there will be an overarching theme. When I look back every year, I look back, I'll say, oh, this was the year of the peat, or this is the year of the Campbelltown. With I mean, there's a general theme. Right now, I think it's kind of post-COVID lockdown, need to get out, really feeling it sort of thing. I've been really into something that I'm not usually into, which is the really active, raw, virgin oak, or almost the cross between a American, a bourbon, sort of the rough and tough Scotch whiskeys, not the smoky ones, but the ones that are sort of woody. And I don't know, I've always shied away from those in years past and sort of favored the more classical styles. But anyway, we'll see if we have any of those in there today. I don't know that we do, but
we might.
That's
we have a pretty nice little Monday selection here.
This is this is not a normal Monday for I think most of us. And I know you guys are all wondering, well, what's the Society doing this month? You guys just had the biggest Outturn ever, and if you are the people who asking yourself that is true, earlier this month we released our largest Outturn of all time. And that's really just in response to the growing interest and enthusiasm from our members here in the States. I think Jenna and I were talking about this earlier. The lockdown for all of us has really ramped up our interest in exploring whiskey. And obviously, we love that because that's our passion too. And so we went all out earlier in June. And we thought, let's release a smaller selection, for the mid-month as we usually do. We have 6 whiskeys to taste tonight. And which is good. I mean, I think it wasn't that long ago where 6 whiskeys a month in the U.S. was all you got, and that was a huge selection. It's oh my God, we got 6 to choose from, and now we're gonna have over 30 in total this month. But
this is a really, I think, kind of meaty mid-month selection, and it kind of covers everything almost. So I'm excited for this one.
So. Yeah, how's everyone doing today? I mean, happy Monday again. If anyone's having a whiskey, please comment below or comment to the right if you're on desktop and let us know what you're sipping on. And just want to say hi, Daniel Duggar's back. Good to see you. Bruce Dunn, greetings from West Plano, Texas. Jenna, there's another Texan in the house.
I was born in Plano.
kind of dropped their mad accent.
There we go.
for fellow Texans. Tomorrow, Jenna will be interviewing Jared Himstead, who's a master distiller at Balcones here on the channel. If you haven't had a chance, give that video a thumbs up or at least sign up for alerts, but that'll be pretty amazing coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
And, yeah, Jenna lives in LA, but she dropped the Texan accent, and it's like cool to hear that come out.
Maybe tomorrow it'll come out.
Maybe tomorrow. Anyway, George, hello from Portland, Oregon. Good to see you. Joe, hello from Omaha. We got like a whole country in here. Wes Jolly, good to see you as well. Wes is back. Jason R is pumped for this. Jason, we're pumped for you. And of course, we have Matthew J. Ryan.
The Tar King.
Looking for the Matt, the Tar King is looking for some Tar Life. Anyway, Jesse Voisin's in. Good to see you, Jesse. I've been working on my Octomore 10.4. Oh, we're talking about Virgin Oak. That's the peat in Virgin Oak. Might be up your alley. That's actually, I do have a bottle of that from, I want to say that's about 4 years ago that came out. Yeah, pretty exciting one. Brian Ackerman, new SMWSA member from California. There you go, Jenna. All your people are in.
All my people are here.
Welcome. Great to have you. Glad you're on board. Hope you enjoy this little preview tasting. So,
yeah, I'm excited.
Let's dive into it. We try to keep it under an hour. It's Monday. Honestly, we were just talking. We said, wow, we really need a whiskey. And what better way to cure that with 6? But, so Jenna, you want to kind of kick us off? I know
do it.
We should probably mention too, tomorrow we actually have 8 coming out. Initially, we were to have 6 when we procured all the sample bottles to taste. And then just realizing, there are a couple more stashed out there that we really good. So we'll talk about those at the end. But we'll be tasting through no less than 6 right now.
Yes. So, like I said, in the beginning, we kind of have a little bit of everything in this Outturn. And so we're going to kick it off with a younger, first fill, ex-bourbon, Speyside. So right up my alley as of late. So the first one is 48.112 called Here Goes Nothing. It is a 7-year first fill ex-bourbon Speyside at 62% ABV. So we're, starting out hot.
It's kind of how I feel that Here Goes Nothing. It's like the perfect starter whiskey for
She is.
Here Goes Nothing. Light blue, lightly delicate. And
delicate.
more. Okay, we had a light and delicate moment. Was it last month? Or we were both kicked off a tasting the light and delicate. We both kind of were gelling on that with how wow. This one is.
Yeah, that was the most fun with your cloves on.
Oh yeah. Anyway, it's back there somewhere, but
yeah.
So the light and delicate style is not one that we've seen a lot of in years past, but I think in the past few months, like this year, 2020, we've seen a lot, and I just think they offer this great experience of sort of a lighter profile, but obviously a full cast strength. Like a unique intensity. So anyway, not to steal away from this one, but
this is yeah, I'm getting just straight up off the nose like bright, very bright citrus notes for me. Like bright like lemon and grapefruit and peels, and it's just very vibrant and citrus on the nose up front for me.
Yeah, I like that. It's like there's a zesty quality, like the citrus note.
That's a good term. Zesty.
Zesty. Yeah.
It's zesty.
It is. I mean, here we have. Can you see the description? I've posted that. I think you can all see that. But 7 years old. It's a young gun. First filled bourbon barrel. Really good wood, and 62%. I think is a nice entry point. Dudley Irvin says most fun with your clothes on. Has been a terrific bottle.
That's good.
So this is similar, right? I mean, what do you? What else?
Yeah. There's almost like there's a waxiness to this for me, like a waxy, like ointment almost. Like if a smell could have a mouthfeel, like if smell had viscosity, this has a good viscosity on the nose. If that makes any sense.
No, it does. I mean, I think sometimes you can, like a thick spirit, you can sort of feel it just on the nose alone, that clings to the nasal passage a little bit. Wow, it's really, really, really hot. 62%. I don't know. This one I felt every bit above that heat.
It is zesty on the palate as well.
Yeah, a lot of white peppercorn. I mean, that citrus peel note is really there, but it's not like smelling lemon. It's just sort of on the background. But once you pick it up, I can't get away from it. But
Yeah, that's just a young, vibrant, really densely flavored whiskey. It has, again, that viscosity that I was getting on the nose. Definitely comes through on the palate. And it's almost like a honeysuckle is kind of what I'm getting, or like an orange and honeysuckle, like creamsicle, because it's kind of creamy. Yeah. So just the way it kind of sits on the palate. Oh, I'm gonna try it with some water.
Yeah, it's like not very floral. I get like a little bit of cereal grains too. I think it's a classic Speyside.
Yeah.
Really just on steroids. And I think that's probably how I would describe it. Because it's light and delicate, but when you taste it at 62%, yeah.
Okay, so with water, it is a little bit sweeter. Definitely brings out those like sweet kind of, I don't know, it reminds me of like a summer cake, like being outside and having like a lemon honeyed cake. And it's like a little bit sweet, but it's like very creamy. And yeah, that's like kind of the season in a bottle to me.
Yeah, I think really nice evolution with a little bit of water.
I think I like it better with water.
The sponge cake or the cake, yeah. I haven't even tasted it, but just nosing it. The sponge cake note, that's what really comes forward. It's really just more complex, bringing down the ABV a little bit.
Yeah, I think I definitely, that with water. And I just put a tiny little dropper full, and it changes it drastically.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's it. I don't know how much water I have, but probably when you look at around like low to mid 50s and 50% ABV, it's like still really strong, but
that's really nice.
Yeah,
that's just like a clean, classic, like you said, on steroids, but it's got a little more oomph to it than the classics. So that's, again, Here Goes Nothing, 48.112, a 7-year Speyside at 62% ABV.
Yeah, light and delicate. I mean, I'm a big fan of the profile, and I wouldn't have expected it to be, but I think the rarely delicate. It's funny, the light and delicate. Like you just lay out all the flavors on paper, the more the delicate flavors, but. Did you hear that? There's someone drilling. There's obviously construction. People are back to work. It's amazing. There's construction going on. No, but I'm sorry. But it's really, there's just so much intensity in this little vial of spirit right here. And so anyway, it's a lot of personality.
Zach said he got a little bit of candy cane with water on that. Okay, Zach.
Okay, Zach.
Zach.
I don't know about that, Zach. I'm just kidding. I don't.
His allergies must be acting up.
I mean, maybe a little peppermint, possibly. I think that's a really.
I can see that.
Really all right, Zach, you're okay this time around. All right, let's move on. I mean, we got ahead. And that was a really good start.
That was a good start. That was a good way to wet the palate. So this next one's actually really exciting. I have this one I did taste before just because I couldn't wait, because I've actually never had anything from this particular distillery before. So I was excited for a lot of things. One, the name I love, and it was a distillery I'd never had before, and it's finished in a cask that I've really been enjoying. So this was one that I was very excited for. And that is 6.35. It is called Cherry Cream Cheese Cupcakes. Like, sold. It is a 13-year Speyside. And the initial cask was an ex-bourbon hogshead, and then it was finished in a first fill barrique, which I've really been into those lately. And this is at 53.7% ABV. There she is.
Cream cheese cupcakes. Yeah, it's interesting. So the first fill STR barrique, which which for everyone it means the cask has been shaved, toasted. STR stands for shaved, toasted, and recharred. So it's sort of like a way of rejuvenating, in this case, a barrique, which is a wine cask. And we don't always know the origin, but usually the barriques that we have are red wine casks from France, likely from Bordeaux. So it's taking those casks that were used to age wine and then sort of just shaving the inner linings, and toasting and recharring. So
yeah, I've had a few. I've noticed that those STR casks are really interesting, and I've had a few different whiskeys that have got to rest in those casks, and I've enjoyed them immensely. So I was very excited to taste this one.
All right. So whoa. Go ahead. You go first. I will try. I just noticed this thing.
I know, right?
Wait, oh, you did it? Okay.
I tasted this already because I couldn't wait.
Wait, what is okay, what's cherry cream cheese cupcakes. Okay, that's exactly what I'm getting.
Yes.
I've never smelled this in a whiskey before.
Yeah, it's almost like batter. It smells like a batter of cupcake batter is what it smells like. It's like it almost has like a milky to the nose. It's bizarre.
Yeah, no, I think I get that. I mean, I guess
the creaminess.
Knowing that it's a wine cask finish, I do pick up some of the grapes, but my first impression was cream cheese and cherry. Like it's wow, wild profile.
Wild, yeah. It's almost like has like a perfumed quality to it. Like this smells like I could wear this.
A little bit of musk, like a fruity and musky sort of note. Sweet fruity I would call it sweet fruity and WTF. This is Zach says this is terrible. Nobody buy it because Zach wants to pick up all the remaining bottles for himself. It's wild nose.
Yeah, this is. I have never had that kind of experience before in a whiskey. Something very kind of out there. Taste it.
Yeah, a bit of like that grape, it's like got a slightly tannic note.
Mm-hmm.
Not really woody. It's more fruity and like sort of like a stewed fruit profile.
It is.
It's just so unique. What do you think?
It almost reminds me of a cherry Coke float.
Oh, that sounds so good too.
Like with whipped cream on top. It is like.
Had that before.
What?
I've never had that before.
Oh well, you have some homework to do. So yeah, it's like a big bowl of vanilla ice cream with cherry Coke. Pour it all over it, and then a big dollop of whipped cream.
Well, this moment by the construction taking place down the hall. But beyond that, I mean, I think like a quiet room, turn the lights out. It's that type of whiskey to really pick up because there's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's not very sweet. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah, it's not sweet, like that kind of artificial sweet. It's sweet like you would get from fruit. It's like fruit sweetness over like artificial sweetness.
Yeah, like it's like the natural sugar.
Natural.
But it's weird. It's more, I guess if I had to pick, it's more cream cheese with cream. Does that make sense? Like it does have that like
funkiness,
milky quality to it.
Did you ever think you would describe a whiskey as cream cheesy?
No, I mean the name was like, what really? And then I tasted it or nosed it right away. I thought this is spot on.
Yeah.
Tim says, remember, this bottle won't be available till 2 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. First of all, they're all coming out at 1 o'clock. There are 72 bottles of this one, minus one actually that we're opening for the tasting. So 71 bottles you'll see at 1 p.m. tomorrow. Yeah, really, really, really wild.
Very different.
And I think, I'm sorry. Go.
No, yeah, no.
Well, I was going to say it's one that I think like over time revisiting, like tomorrow I want to revisit it, and I feel like I'll probably get something different, each time.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
And I think I don't remember. I didn't write down my notes when I tasted this a few days ago. But I think one of the things I love about this is there's weight to this whiskey. Like the flavor is so densely packed and concentrated almost, like it just sticks to every little nook and cranny of your taste buds. And so it's like a weighty whiskey. And I really love that.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. And it's definitely got to be a dessert whiskey. I'm trying to think of what, where would fit in sort of time of day or what, like for me, it's summer dessert, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, this over some ice cream would probably be like the greatest thing ever.
Or like a Sunday brunch type of thing. I had some pancakes the other day. Like this would go perfect well for a breakfast round.
Or some French toast.
Oh man. Okay. All right. So this was just wild. I've never had anything like that before. And so I think a good call on the weightiness, because I think that's, once you said that, I picked that up as well.
Yeah. That is a fun whiskey. All right. You gonna add water? I didn't add water.
I added a little bit. I don't, and actually I'm going to add a little bit more real quick. I want to be mindful of time and move on, but this is it's just so different.
Yeah, it's not like I've never had anything that even remotely compares to just the experience of that whiskey from nose to finish. It's just it is unique all the way around.
Wow. Wow. All right.
So, yeah.
So that was only number 2. Probably 4. No, that was a really good one.
Yeah.
I'm just so perplexed by it. I haven't had anything like it before, and I'm looking for like revisiting. Sorry everybody, shutting off the camera, closing the blinds, and just having a moment to sit with that one, because I think there's a lot to unpack.
I agree. And if you're somebody who likes to try new things, and if you're somebody who really likes to go out and have very different experiences in your whiskey, then this is the whiskey for you.
All right, what do we got next?
All right, next we have a 11-year Speyside. It's cask 115.16. Again, so an 11-year ex-bourbon hogshead, and finished in a second fill Pedro Jimenez hogshead at 59.5% ABV. And this is called Turned into a Nutty Corner.
Did you mention the label? I want to see. So on the new labels, I don't know if you guys have noticed, they now show for any whiskey that's been double matured, the initial cask and then also the final cask. So it says right there, ex-bourbon hogshead initially, and then final is the second fill XPX hogshead, which is PX is Pedro Jimenez sherry. So like the sweet, sticky sweet style of sherry. For just a final term. So just to add a little probably coat of depth and different character.
Ooh.
So another Speyside. So 3 Speysides in a row. It's been a kind of Speyside Monday.
Yeah, actually, this I think this Outturn is a little Speyside heavy. So, but massive flavor differences. So I almost get on this like a candied bacon.
Yeah, this thing is raw. Like there's a raw, like a cereal grain, and we're talking about a little bit like the raw oak. You get the bacon. I mean, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what that is.
Actually, bacon in here. No, I think you're right. I mean, I get something like it's like a savory note.
Yeah.
And the Pedro Jimenez sherry, which you normally think of like the sticky sweet and fruity like note, is not really prevalent. It's more of sort of a tannic note on top of like a balsamic vinegar glaze type of thing for me.
There you go. But it's like super faint on like the very back end.
Yeah. It's sort of like a really sort of like a humid tobacco note for me. Tobacco, that savory note it's there, but
it's super slight.
Slight. It's okay. very subtle, but very raw, and not at all what I would expect initially just on paper. This is spicy and sweet flavor profile, right?
Yes.
So purple. So
yeah, this is.
I gotta tell you, these last two. What is going on here? These are like I've never had anything like this one either. You think you've had it all. You know, you pride yourself on being this whiskey taster, dude. No, I don't even. I've never experienced anything like this one either. You know.
Yeah, I think it's funny. You know, we're still in Speyside, but I feel like we have jumped to like very far corners. You know, in all of these, they're all so different and so unique, and it's kind of wild.
All right, so we have to interrupt this programming to address the comment from Free Sipsy Russell. Sipsy, who Sipsy, you've been a wonderful supporter of ours, and we owe you an apology for accidentally blocking you when somebody created a rogue account similar to yours and was kind of acting out. I think what a decent human being should do. We accidentally blocked you. So Sipsy, Free Sipsy Russell is back. Welcome, Sipsy Russell. Provided that you are the real one and not another imposter, we welcome you. I personally take responsibility for trying to block the wrong one. So I'll look on the back end to see if we can go to unblock regular Sipsy Russell. But anyway, I'm glad that you're here in your free form.
Good to have you back.
Good to have you back. And after, I'm sorry we got off on the wrong start, but I hope our relationship can go down a brighter path. I mean that we talked about that, Sipsy. We felt terrible after that. So, anyway, well, Sipsy, you just joined us in the third whiskey cast 115.16 turned into a nutty quarter. So nuttiness, are you getting any of that, Jenna? What do you think?
This is very nose and palate aren't matching for me. So like the palate on this is not what I was expecting at all. It is. I
haven't tasted it yet.
Okay, well, I'm not going to put any thoughts into your head. I'm going to let you taste it first.
No, I mean, here. Let me just solve that right now. Ooh. a bit tannic. Like that PX sherry is like very subtle. I'm sorry, what you were waiting for me. What do you think?
No, it's I'm getting like chocolate, like dark chocolate or like cocoa powder and like balsamic vinegar on the palate on this. Like it is. Yeah, I get it more so on the palate than I do on the nose. So it's like tangy. There's like a tanginess to this and like a meatiness. Like when I first tasted it, I was like, is that like a smoked quality almost, like a smokiness to this? Then I was like, I don't know if it's that or if it's just like kind of meaty. I can't figure this out.
Yeah, I mean, when you said like the bacon, I was thinking sometimes you think of like an Islay peated whiskey, you get like a ham note, like a smoky.
Yeah.
I wasn't picking that up. I didn't get the bacon as much, but I get. But it is savory in such a bizarre way. I mean, I feel like we look like idiots because we can't describe any whiskey here. I got to tell you, these are really so unusual. But I think you're calling it the balsamic. Like that's such a unique sort of flavor to begin with. And it's like a dusty floor. It's like balsamic drizzled on a dusty warehouse floor, and then you just lick it up with. Yeah, and
there's like a little trail of chocolate that a kid has dropped or something, on the floor, and you get a little bit of that in there too.
That's exactly how you get COVID. I mean, that's licking the floor that somebody else has walked on.
Yeah, don't lick any floors. Yeah, this is like I can't describe this one. I'm struggling on the words for this.
It is heavier. You call it the weight of the previous one, 6.35. It's weighting in a different way.
Yeah.
This is probably more because of balsamic, like a good caprese salad, like balsamic over like the buffalo and tomato, and so it's like a salad in a way, but served on a dusty floor with a trail of chocolate or something. But
so we have cream cheese, and now we have salad, And I'm not sure what's coming next.
That's mid-month of June. It's just it's the day of what is going on here.
Yeah, this is so crazy.
That's the whole point. I mean, ultimately, you guys, I mean, we're looking for these casts that are unlike any other. You know, obviously, they're not bottled. They're approved by our tasting panel once they're ready to be bottled. So they have to be of a certain quality, of course. But going in and looking for these originally, oftentimes we're looking for things that tell a story that hasn't been told before. And these two in a row. The first one was a great classic space. These last two have been so wild.
Yeah. Very, very, very unique. Yeah, this one's just like a salad. It is. Yeah, like balsamic vinegar, and then you get like that tang, and then you get kind of that meatiness. Maybe that's from, the cheese. I don't know. This is bizarre.
Yeah. And Evan Bell asked, this is balsamic to make the milk dry. It's like
I don't find it dry.
Yeah, it's not very dry. I think it's a long. No, it's like it's not an abrupt. It's a long, lengthy finish that's really just so on. I don't want to use the word moist, but it's like it's just not dry.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll probably be getting there in a little bit, but. Yeah,
this is not. This is still very juicy on the palate, but like tangy. I don't know. This is wild. Anyway, yeah. So 11-year Speyside 115.16 turned into a nutty corner. I'm going to read the tasting notes on this one actually because it might kind of give us. So it says nuances of plums with vinegar and chili chocolate brownies finally did turn into a nutty corner. So I think these tasting notes are pretty close.
The vinegar note, yeah. I mean, we talked about balsamic. I think that's spot on.
Yeah, and then the chocolatey, like chilliness, plums. I think these tasting notes are pretty spot on. So. All
right, that was number 3. We're just being thrown for a loop. It's definitely not for a while, and I love that. So. Dudley says, don't have a spicy and sweet or the Sicilian in my collection. Sounds like it might be a good first for both. Yeah, and it's a good first in the sense that I've never had anything like it before.
No.
These last two. So Dudley, I think if you're looking for something unique that also fits, different profile and distillery that you've appreciated whiskey from, this is definitely a good show.
Yeah, so. I'm like kind of nervous. Like, what are we going to get next? Like a pizza or, I mean, I don't
know. I hope so. I like it. I mean, if I get to have a whiskey that tastes like pizza, but if we can get there, I'm like.
Can somebody, if you're listening, please make a whiskey that tastes like pizza?
Well, we're not done yet today. So
I know it could be here. All right. So next one, number 4. This is a pretty little, Black Label.
Oh, big dog.
Yeah, it has pretty little gold monogram on it. So this is cask number 7.229. It's called Big Nuts and Spice. It says the tasting notes. I'll read the tasting notes and then I will fill you in on all of the other good information. But this says notes of pine nuts, Brazil nuts, and walnuts combined with nutmeg and cinnamon, whilst flavors of malt loaf and mango merge with the nasturtium. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's a word. Yep. Leaf pepperiness.
Cream cheese.
Yeah. Cream cheese. Yeah. So this is a 26-year Speyside in a refill ex-bourbon hogshead at 49.4% ABV. So there we go.
Wow. Yeah. My first society whiskey, or first bottle of my own, was a 26-year-old from Distillery 7 in a refill hogshead. So This is like a little
nostalgia.
A little bit. First bottle ever. And I think we've had a good partnership with this distillery, and we've had quite a few, but I think they're hard to come by these days.
I'm sorry?
I think they're hard. I mean, we used to have a lot from Distillery 7, in recent years, and I think they're becoming harder to come by. But I mean, they're still out.
Yeah, and I think we have a big, group of people who are kind of diehard 7 lovers. They seem to be pretty popular. So, what you getting on this one?
7.225 Adolescent Tropical Love is one of the best drums I ever had. Yeah, that was an older one. That was around, I think, this age as well, if I remember. First,
That was
remind me
only
if I'm wrong, but
4 cask
sorry?
ago.
That was 4 casts. Oh yeah. So this is 7229. So the 229 cast. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this is.
And I love the labels on these. They're so beautiful with the gold and the black.
I haven't seen the new black label with new packaging, but.
And it's a little textured.
Yeah.
You can kind of see it. So they're really pretty.
Yeah, I think that looks good. So Spicy and Dry, we haven't had a lot. I don't know that we've ever had one in the U.S. The Spicy and Dry flavor profile is the yellow strip. We haven't had one of those in a black label bottle, I think, ever. I mean, fun, nerdy, Nerdy Fat guys. I think this might be our first black label with the yellow strip. but truly though. So Spicy and Dry, we're talking about that sort of spice and dryness that earlier of sort of being up my alley these days.
This has like a musty, dustiness to this.
Yeah. I like that. There's like a sweet orchard fruit, like classical space side, like a green apple, or like a baked type of apple with a little bit of cinnamon or spice in it. But I get that dust too.
Yeah.
So much going on. Significantly older, like in age, as we know, this is 26 years. We really doubled in age compared to the last one, I think. But this really just requires a little bit of a pause, It
does. I agree, because I think up front you really get that kind of musty dustiness, but the more time you spend with it, you get those really bright notes that are hiding behind that. It just takes a little time.
I feel like we were just running a marathon with the cream cheese and the balsamic, and now I'm like, okay, I gotta slow down.
But I think the perfect one to kind of take a pause on and actually slow down, because this deserves some extra time.
Yeah, really beautiful, just nose.
Really nice nose.
Light, sort of a lot of dried fruit. I mentioned like the baked apple, like a big apple crisp type of thing. Mm-hmm. That dustiness. Do you bake
love that.
Are you a baker at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Like, yes, all the time. That's all. I get in trouble because I bake so many treats, and then I don't have anybody to share them with because we're all stuck in our houses, and so I bake all the time. That's
right. I asked that question because I thought, like, a few years back, I thought you were talking about baking. That's you're really into it. So, like, some of these, like, nose and whiskeys, I'm getting a lot of sort of these probably more unique desserts that you won't find. It's like chocolate cake. It's just more obscure. But I get like an apple crisp.
The apple notes on this, like, are, once you kind of get past that wave of that musty, dusty, like, woodiness, then it's like very bright apple notes on the back. I was trying to kind of figure out what that brightness was, and it's apple.
So good. That's like proper old school. Oh man, that's a bygone era type of whiskey. And 26 years old, like, depending how you look at it, that's old for a whiskey. It's also not that old, but if you're sort of fortunate like us, this tastes so much older than 26. There's like so many qualities of it, muskiness. It just tastes like it's 35, 40 years old. That old worn leather.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
I mean, that's really beautiful. There is an elegant quality to this, but you're still getting that kind of matured, and those dusty notes come through on the palate for me, which I love that in the whiskey.
Yeah. That's what I like too. It's not just here's a really old whiskey, kind of like stroke my ego a little bit. No, It's a whiskey. It's luxurious in character, yes, but it has such a unique depth and that sort of that dusty profile with the cream earthiness that I think is it's just phenomenal. Wow.
Yeah, this could, I think, almost be in our old and dignified. flavor profile because it tastes old and dignified to me. It is. I don't know this.
Yeah, but I think that's always that's a funny profile. Like, old and dignified. It's like it's not like it's sweet, fruity, and mellow, or deeper to dry fruits, which have sort of flavors attached to them. It's just old and dignified. But I think that your dustiness like allows sort of that dry, earthy character to I think sort of transcend the typical old and dignified. You know what I mean? Like it's totally unique.
Yeah. That kind of this is like one of those whiskeys that takes you somewhere. Like you sip this and then you're instantly like transported into like an old house with like a big library, and there's all this dust in the air and the smell of old books, and then you're just eating like a apple Danish in a big leather armchair. The dust is swirling around your head. Like this whiskey it really does just like transport you somewhere else.
Oh,
so
good.
Yeah, that's really fantastic.
Daniel Dover asks, I've noticed a gold label on some old and dignified, but not all. Does this represent something particular about the profile? So typically our black label, which is adorned with the copper monogram. I mean, technically, if you can see, it does look very gold, I think, in that lighting. But does it look gold to you, or is it more copper, Jenna? Anyway, I think idea is that it's always sort of been sort of a copper, but it does look a little bit more golden. Yeah,
this does look a little. This is like proper gold.
But those labels have always been designated for sort of the rarest casks in our warehouse. And then going beyond that, we have what's the Volts collection, which has a very similar black label with the copper gold monogram, and then also the box. And there's a copper ribbon as well. Really just the rarest of the rarest in our warehouse. And so oftentimes they are older whiskeys. So you'll see a lot in the old and dignified profile. But sometimes we have some younger ones that have a black label just because they're so unique. We've had like last year, I'm trying to think, we had a young Japanese whiskey, single cask. You just don't see a lot of Japanese single cask whiskeys out there, period. So we designated that one with the black label. So it varies, but generally they are the older ones, such as this one. So
yeah, that's just a really, really beautiful whiskey. Wow, we've gone all over the place today. And we're only 40 minutes in.
That's so good. That's so good.
Yeah, that is like one of those whiskeys that you really like sit down and take your time with, and like have a moment. That's a moment whiskey.
Yeah. Shall we? All right, we got two more.
Let's do it.
Go. All right, so just a reminder, all of these are coming out tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time. We have 6 we're tasting tonight. This is our 5th, but we'll be 8 in total. And I'll mention those briefly once we finish these. Tom R says we need a black label rum. Tom and your rum, I love it. But all our spirits have a special label designated for those separately, and it comes down to the importation of what we can and cannot bring them based on labels. So just Tom, think of all the rums as black labels. Anyway.
And Karen asks, is the Outturn available at 1 o'clock Eastern time? And yes, so these all go live at 1 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. So, all right, so number 5, this is cask number 44.119. It is called Spice the Mainbrace. It is a 16-year Speyside. Initial cask is ex-bourbon hogshead, and the final cask is a first fill ex-Oloroso hogshead. And this is at 60.2% ABV. So
we've seen quite a few of these 44s lately, and these have been amongst the most popular casks. I mean, it's just really wild. And I'm looking here, this 16 years Oloroso double maturation.
The color on that is
really
beautiful.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like so vibrant.
Oh, what is
I quit.
Is it me, or is this what is this? I feel like I'm getting balsamic vinegar and cream cheese.
Oh no.
Is it just still lingering?
This?
So 16 years, I believe 14 years in ex-bourbon. I'm sorry. 14 years in ex-bourbon, and then 2 years in the first fill Oloroso cherry.
Yeah, I think so. If we're comparing this to the 115, the two kind of sherried whiskeys, I think the sherry is definitely more present here, just up front on the nose. Like you definitely get more of that. Whereas the other one, there were like very unique qualities that you don't really find. But this is more of kind of a classic upfront, like, hey, it's me, Oloroso. I'm here.
What's up? That's
yeah.
me.
That's sure. This.
Yeah, there's a nice nuttiness.
Yeah.
There's a nice, it's like a nutty dark fruit note to it, but it's really, I think, balanced well. I mean, it's very malty for me. Like the spirit is, 16 years old, but there's a lot going on, but I get this sort of this rejuvenated malty character to it.
Yeah.
And Evan Belt right before that, Zach getting candy canes though. Zach picked up candy canes on I think was it the first one we had, and he's not getting that. That's unfortunate.
Zach is not getting candy canes. Yeah, I'm getting like it's very figgy to me. Like this is very. It's figgy.
I like that. I think that's great call out.
Like figgy pudding.
Yeah, or Fig Newtons, the greatest processed dessert of all time.
There's like figs and dates and like dried plums and getting a lot of those kind of purpley fruits.
Oh man, yeah, those. I think you nailed it. Those dried fruits, like the figgy plums. Sort of the purple fruits. I get a lot of sawdust on the palate. I don't know if it's like really, really unique.
Yeah, I could see that sawdust. Kind of feels like if you're in a wood shop and you kind of get like that mouthful of sawdust, the stuff that's in the air, and like you just open your mouth and it kind of sticks to your tongue. Just me.
No, I
definitely get that. Yeah.
The weight of it, like the texture is phenomenal. Sunday evening scotches just joining in. I love those sherry whiskeys from 44. Blown away from last year. Was one of my top 10 favorite whiskeys in 2019. Well, just because we're all about, no rules of the society, let's just do a little. Okay, I'm nosing with the bottle. Very, very different. I think this is 44-119. That was 44-103 blown away. Just for the reference is what he's asking about. 15-year-old. And this was also double matured from a bourbon to Hogshead. Actually, this was a PX Hogshead, and this is Oloroso sherry. So different note. That's more fruity. This is more sort of spicy and nutty.
Yeah, this is like more woody, more figgy, and I find this to be a little sweeter than the other one. So like
the figs are spot on.
Yeah, like figgy, woody sweetness.
Yeah. It sounds like a Dr. Seuss book, but it's really good.
Yeah, this is like holiday whiskey.
1 fig, 2 fig, red fig, blue fig. I mean, it's as I think was rightly pointed out by Michael Brady, Christmas in June. Would you categorize this as a sherry bomb? Asked Andrew.
No.
Yeah. I think no, I wouldn't. I think that the term is used to describe a lot of heavily sherry whiskeys, but I think this is just sort of a double maturation. The final 2 years of 16 in Oloroso sherry, it just adds a nice layer.
Yeah.
Of figgy pudding on top
I
of.
agree.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, this isn't like in your face sherry. This isn't, that very aggressive. Like it's like drinking sherry. This is a really beautiful balance of those two casks, and it just gives it that perfect amount of that, figgy, Christmassy, like holiday goodness, but you still really get that base level of the initial cask in there. Yeah, that's really nice.
I have to say, this is number 5. 2 of these have been sort of classical in their construct. 3 of these have just been so unpredictable. Like this is different than a lot of the 44s we've seen before.
Yeah, hold on 1 second.
Yeah. Grab another one. This is so wild. What is that?
I can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Well,
so
Jenna,
I think this is June. Okay, so in our new member bundles, we have 44.123. And these, so these were actually distilled on the same day.
Oh, similar batch. So, okay, interesting. So one has just been, well, that's fun.
Yeah.
So, okay, so interesting. So they've both been distilled same date. And
same day.
Interesting, okay.
They're both 16 years, and there's only a slight ABV difference, and then obviously the cask finish difference. But yeah, they're like sisters.
They're like sisters. So one, so we mentioned one was transferred to the Oloroso sherry cask at after 14 years, and the other one is simply, they're both 16 years, right? So one was just left to continue on, and its original cask, and the other one. That's pretty interesting. So if you're not a member, those are our new member bottle bundles. If you're not a member, you're interested in joining, that's one that's available. If you're interested in joining our uber nerdy whiskey comparison, which is what we always endorse here at the Scotland Whiskey Society, you can pick up one of those as well tomorrow and do a fun little comparison. Very different whiskey the two.
Very different. Very different. I haven't done a side-by-side comparison yet, but I definitely have to do that now, knowing that they're like sister casks. So, all right.
Last one. The sixth one, yeah.
Last one. All right. So
I'm sorry, just to answer the question, but Dudley asked, cast numbers aren't necessarily sequential. They are, Dudley. They are, when we bottle cast to get the number. So that was 44.119. The next one bottle will be 44.120. But not every cast makes it to every country. So in our lineup of what we offer, it may not be sequential. We might jump up. And sometimes there'll be an issue where actually we'll go down once. It depends on the makeup of the Outturn. So, but when we bottle them and number them, it is sequential. So.
All right, so we're gonna finish off this Speyside spree with a Speyside.
Wait, we are?
Yeah, we're all Speyside today. They're all Speyside.
Guys, we didn't even know that. I didn't. Did you know this? I didn't realize this.
I did know that.
Oh, you did know that? Okay.
I did. I was trying to save it for like a surprise,
All right, but it's a different space. This is a very Speyside.
A very Speyside. Yes. So this is, and I've talked about this distillery actually quite a bit over the past few weeks. So this one is cask number 108.20, which is called Out and About, and it is a 7-year Speyside in a second fill ex-bourbon barrel in our lightly peated flavor profile.
Wow. So talk to us about. I mean, when you said this style of peat, the Speyside peats. What do you think? I mean, what's your?
So I find these to be like a sweeter peat than the kind of salty, medicinal, briny peats that we love from Islay. This just offers like a sweeter. It's like happy peat. It's like happy and bright and the sweetness level on this is a little bit, thicker than it would be on those kind of salty, briny, island peats. But so mainland peat is more wood, like forest driven, whereas Islay peat's more like sphagnum moss rooted. John Campbell taught me that.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, just here's sort of an analysis that I guess is not very common, but just pouring this one, like the volume in which the aroma just sort of protrudes out the glass is so intense. It's like a really soft, approachable, it's a mossy peat, but going back to the last glass, I was holding my glass from my nose up to here, but here I can just hold it like 6 inches away, and I sort of feel like I get the same effect. And when I go in, it's like the volume. It's like just this symphonic explosion.
This is like, if I had poured this in the beginning of the tasting, I don't think that this would have overpowered the rest of the room. It's not, like opening those like really super heavy peat bombs. This is more of like a fragrant, floral sweetness on the nose for me.
Eric Wade is in the house. Good to see you, Eric. Eric calls out rightfully, "You're a happy Pete."
Happy Pete.
I think is a great way. I've never thought of it that way, but I think it's spot on. Tom asks, "Is there any smoke in that bottle, or mostly peat, clay, and dirt?" What do you think?
I don't think it's really smoky. I don't find it to be super smoky. I find this to be like bright and it's like it's just very bright. It's not heavy or I don't know. It's like, you know, when you smell that kind of smokiness, it like kind of totally like engulfs you and you like, I don't know. This is just more bright and floral and joyous. Not that, you know, there isn't a peat that's not joyous. I love all peat, but I don't find it to be smoky. I find it to be more on the floral side than the smoky side.
Yeah. Matthew Baird says 108.18 was one of the most delicious casts I've ever had. It was incredible. Yeah, this is kind of similar to that. For me, there's a density. I think there's a profound density to it, but it's almost like walking into a steam room when you're just hit with a wave of sort of aromatic, well, steam in a steam room, minus the sort of the Vicks vapor aroma. But it's like it is really dense for me. And that's what I was thinking, but the smoke in it, it's like if you're in a steam room for 30 people and one person lights a cigarette for like a minute and then is told to put it out. They say, "Dude, why are you smoking a cigarette in a steam room? Come on, you can't do that here." And he puts it out. So there's like a waft of like a little smoke, but it's like that carries through into the dense steam. Does that make sense? That's at least my thing.
I always get like, you know, that smell of like new pool floats? You know, like when you open the package of a new pool float?
No, I live in the Midwest and we don't have pools. I don't. So no, I actually don't know the pool.
Okay, it's like it's not like, I don't know. It's like pool raft smell, like new shower curtain liner or new pool float. It like kind of has that little tinge on it, but the palette has more of like an ashiness. It's like a little ashy, like sooty.
There's so much going on here. That's so good. It is so good. I mean, these are so second fill barrel, 7 years old. Oh yeah, man, 60%. That is, maybe this is our sixth one, but that is dangerously approachable.
It is not a 63er at all. It does not drink like 63%.
Oh, that is so good.
But like you still get that kind of sootiness. But then it's like, this is great summer peat whiskey. If that makes any sense.
No, it's a great call. I mean, that makes total sense. This is not, it's so light. You know what, like this, I mean, this whiskey has so much, it's so good neat, but in a highball, a little bit of citrus, it would be like, I love peated highball whiskeys, a little club soda, a little bit of citrus zest in there. This would be like perfect. I know some people don't want to add any club soda to their whiskey, and it's totally fair. There's so much going on in this neat, glass here, but that is so, it's like airy. It's like so light and airy, but I don't know, the volume of it. Like, again, I keep going back to that. There's so much.
I get like a little hint of like Laffy Taffy on the end of this, like banana Laffy Taffy, like a very like faint whisper of Laffy Taffy, like that sweetness. Like it makes me think of like the beach and getting saltwater taffy and like the
fresh, what was it? The fresh, like the pool floats or whatever. It's like, yeah. I got your whole scene is there in the mind. I'm like in a men's steam room and like a gym locker room somewhere. Some dude lights a cigarette. I prefer your vision of this one.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is really beautiful. These 108s have been, I mean, really outstanding. And I think the one that Matthew was talking about, the 108.18, that was Pancetta Roulette.
Yeah.
Which was stellar.
Yeah.
Like super stellar. But these 108s have been really impressive. I've been really, somebody who loves those really intense Islay peats. I think this is such a beautiful departure, you're still getting that amazing sensation you get when you drink a peated whiskey, but this is just like on a lighter, more delicate level. And I really love that.
This is going to sound like, we're sort of tooting our own horn for a second, but I mean, I hope you guys know, both of us were members of the club before we started working with the company and chose to out of just love for the whiskey. And I'm looking back now here at the 6 that we've tasted, and like nothing on the shelves tastes like any of these. Like, this doesn't taste anything like anything that you have. And I'm thinking, now I'm putting my member hat on and thinking like, wow, this is such a great pickup for the value. Like what you get out of this whiskey is exactly why I was inspired to become a member to begin with. It's profound. And I think once you go down that road, it's really hard to go back, because this little thing on paper, it sounds like, 7-year-old peated Speyside, out and about. What does that even mean? Out and about. Like there's so much going on here. It's so remarkable. And I'm just really happy that this one exists too.
Yeah, and I think that's the other exciting thing that I personally have always loved about the Society is that, when you think peated whiskeys, you don't think Speyside. You think peat and you're thinking, your heavy hitters from Islay. You're not thinking Speyside at all. And to have an opportunity to taste, not only distilleries that you don't get typically, but to have, peat from somewhere else. I want to taste peat from Texas, and I want to taste peat from Canada, or like a cranberry bog, or, to be able to have a different, peat experience from somewhere else, I think it's really special, and it just continues to expand your palate. And I think that's a really cool thing. Yeah.
I mean, look, I try to sort of stay neutral on all things, because this is such a good whiskey. I can't guarantee anything that, every palate's different, but I think this is just, I'm so enamored by this, such a young, unassuming, sort of run-of-the-mill for Society standards. I mean, we have so many whiskeys like this, and it's great, but I'm sort of reminding myself of really, wait, this is so different from what you
very different.
Go out there in the rest of the world and pick up. This is just remarkable. Anyway, so
that was fun
for our Canadian friends. Yeah. And Eric says, Tamar, I'm in Austin, Texas. Eric's in Austin. I picked up peated whiskey from Balcones, another heavily peated from Andalusia. Which brings me to my reminder that tomorrow Jenna will be with Jared Himstead, master distiller of Balcones, here on the channel, sitting down for about an hour or however long it goes, just sort of diving into the craft, Jared's craft of the Texas single malt scene. I think Balcones is really sort of the front runner. In embracing Texas. Jenna happens to be from Texas. My wife's from Texas, so I try to say y'all because it's convenient and I can get away with it. I live in Chicago, but I'm really looking forward to that, to your talk with him. And he's just a fantastic Society member and supporter of ours too. So anyway, so Eric Wade is asking how this whiskey compares to Ardbeg or like a Lagavulin, the younger ones. It's just the peat smoke is so different.
Very different.
Right? It's so much lighter and approachable. It really is a hybrid between a sort of a really bright, flavorful peated whiskey and a bit of that Islay, but not at all, because it doesn't have the medicinal qualities.
Exactly. And that's what I was going to say, in comparing it to, an Ardbeg, it doesn't have that like industrialness to it. It's really just a very different experience, and you're not getting those really kind of heavy, like ashy, tarry qualities. You're getting that really beautiful, just like there's a sootiness, but it's like floral and bright and just a very happy peat.
Yeah, what I love about that, all those things are just amplified. It's 63%, so it's not like it's just muted. It is full-blown explosive. Better. So the question that is pressing right now is, what else is being released tomorrow? So initially, we just had these 6 planned for release for our mid-month Outturn tomorrow, but we've decided to add 2 more, which we don't have, but I'll tell you what they are. Which is, we have, first of all, becoming, I think, our favorite these days. Figure out why. It's cask 93.126. We've seen quite a few from 93. That's going to be a 9-year-old oily and coastal profile. So from Campbelltown. So Campbelltown, particularly Distillery 93, we've been putting out quite a few casks lately. Seems to be the first to go, very, very popular. They do a variety of different malts from unpeated traditionally to lightly peated to heavily peated. This is more of the classic unpeated style. So it's oily and coastal flavor profile, 9 years old from a first fill bourbon barrel, and priced at $125. That's called Campbelltown. Cask is 93.126, called Campbelltown Come Down. That's pretty exciting. And then beyond that, we have cask 135.17, Taking the High Road, which is a Southern Highland Young and okay. Hold on, let me finish saying what this is.
That one sounds so exciting.
Yeah, this is like these are the two we didn't get. Okay, well, let me finish it. Okay, so it's taking the cask 135.17, Taking the High Road. What even is this day, by the way? Taking the High Road, first fill bourbon barrel, 10 years old, young and sprightly, priced at $100. Now, okay, we like all whiskeys from all distilleries and all flavor profiles, but like generally, Jenna has this 135 thing going on, and I have this 93 thing going on. And I tend to like oily and coastal a lot. I mean, I like them all, but Jenna likes young and sprightly a lot. So the fact that I'm realizing right now that the two other whiskeys
we didn't get them.
Maybe it's good that they didn't come out because we'd be biased or something and have some sort of pre-existing love. But that's insane. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. When I saw that 135, I was like, I need to
You
take
saw
a
that?
moment.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
So if there are any of those left over, I'm going to have to be getting one of those for myself.
135.17, sort of behind the scenes notes. This actually looks like it's made with wine yeast. So we'll have a sort of experimental run of different yeasts using some of our casks from Distillery 135 that we've acquired over the years. So this will be interesting. Taking the High Road. I like that name. Yeah. So anyway, that's that. We've sort of gone over, but is, I think the 6 that we've tasted plus the 2 that I can't believe that those
I know.
2.
I know.
All right.
It's okay, but this was like such a roller coaster. I feel like we went all over the place with these whiskeys. They're all wildly different and just wildly unique. Not anything like we've had before, and I think these are going to make a lot of people happy. So. Yeah. So,
and the last question is, how many of these bottles are coming? So for the 93, we have 90. So 93.126 is 90. And then the cask 135.17, Taking the High Road, there are going to be 84 in total. So yeah, all of them on a first come, first served basis tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time. And yeah.
So that's it. Yeah.
That was my day has changed. That was like,
yeah, I know it has changed. It was kind of a crazy day, and now it's a really fantastic and fun day. So that was fun.
All right, everyone. Thanks again for tuning in.
Yes.
Go watch Jenna tomorrow with Jared Hempstead of Balcones. Really, really exciting. 5 p.m. The video's up. You can go sort of click the notifications, and I'll be in the chat. While you guys are talking, I'll be in the chat.
Yeah.
So
it'll be fun.
Wow, that was so good. Sorry.